Welcome to Deliciously Motivated Mindset, hosted by Deborah and Moira. This podcast is designed to help listeners unlock their full potential, both personally and professionally, so they can thrive, not just survive. Deborah and Moira explore how natural tendencies don't always serve individuals and provide insights on how to harness existing strengths. Their goal is to equip listeners with the habits, mindset shifts, and strategies needed for lasting, meaningful change. Finding purpose and fulfillment can be challenging, but this podcast offers expert conversations, practical advice, and valuable tools to help align with a true sense of purpose and create a more fulfilling life. So grab a notebook, open your notes app, and get ready to take in some game-changing insights. Let's dive in.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
Hi.
Hello, lovely. Here we are with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset conversations. And OMG, we've got a goodie. And actually, listeners, this one was informed by a conversation we were having before we even started here. And then we were like, oh, we need to talk about this in an episode. So here we are.
Yeah, we're 40 minutes on a chit chat, and then we're just like, hang on,
this is there's
podcast.
A lot of stuff in here. So we want to talk about, are the people around you uplifting you or depleting you? Oh, gosh. Time for contemplation and diving in.
Just the title goes,
I know.
I can
it's
think
okay.
of people.
We're going to hold your hand through it. Your hand through it. But before we get into the conversation, I've already got one hand on my heart. And I encourage you to put one hand or both hands on your heart, and then you can put one hand on your tummy if that feels right for you. Just take a nice deep breath in and a long, slow breath out through your mouth. Allowing yourself to land here. Another deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. And if you're in a chair where you can lean back onto the back of the chair, just to lean back and feel yourself supported behind you. Another deep breath in. Feeling the support in front of your heart with your hand, and behind your heart with the back of your chair or whatever you're sitting against. Just feel yourself cradled, nurtured, held, grounded, seen, acknowledged, connected. Breathe out and allow your intention to connect your heart energy with my heart energy and with Deb's heart energy and with anybody else listening to this conversation. Another nice deep breath, and let's start getting into riffing and exploring these ideas. Are people around you uplifting you or depleting you? This is such an important topic to just allow yourself a wee bit of neutrality. That's what I really encourage you to allow yourself to get into a wee bit of neutrality first. Because if we start from any place of too little or too much, we may get a skewed piece of reflection. Does that make sense, Deb?
You will.
You will. You will.
You will, because if right now, for me, even just thinking about the people who are in my circle, and some I'm just like, ugh. Like I see social media and some people I just cringe. I'm like, oh my God, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And so if you're instantly thinking about that, please, I'm just going to say trust today.
Yeah.
Just trust today, even if you're feeling.
Put your hand onto your heart and take a really deep breath.
So if you hear anything that we say and it triggers you, like you're just like, ugh, yeah, that's me. I'm, even and I'm going to say the words, oh, I'm so stupid. I've done this again. By the way, cancel.
Yeah, cancel.
That out. But even if you're just starting to think like that, please just put your hand on your heart and just trust this whole process that we will have you in a different headspace as we go along, but definitely at the end. But as we go along, it's just gonna, this might poke you.
It might.
It's not our intention. like, please let us know. We're not here to poke. Well, actually, if it was my podcast
with
on
loving
my own.
kindness, with loving
Yeah.
kindness and an invitation to deepen the connection with you. Oh, and P.S. I
Yeah.
never finished my intro into this because
Oh, whoops.
grab a note-taking device. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, in what we were just saying, if, for instance, something that we say triggers you or you start going, oh God, not this again,
Mm.
make a wee note of it. Make a wee note of it because that might be
Honor
something
it.
for you to bring into this energy that we're co-creating together, right?
Yeah. So, like, I love that. If it does trigger you, honor it, write it down, and then say to yourself, I'm honoring this. I'll come back to you later.
Yeah,
Seen, heard, acknowledged.
yeah, yeah,
Because as soon as you can do that, it just goes, I'm honoring you. Like, I'm honoring this thought. You're not dismissing it. You're giving it that attention, but you're not going to give it full attention because we would like you here in this room.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Well, guess what, peeps? That's your first tip. Your first tip is grab a note-taking device. Your second is if it triggers you.
If it triggers you. You know, it's really fun because one of the stories that Deb and I were talking about was I just met somebody new earlier today, and she was telling me about this fear she has about driving on the highway. And so I was telling her or saying to really feel her body. I was encouraging her to like feel her hand on the steering wheel and really squeeze the steering wheel and take deep, deep breaths and repeat internally, I am safe. You should have seen her face lit up. She says, I do that. I've been doing that.
Ah,
And so I just thought that was so beautiful because she was already embodying some of the ways to get through that sort of depleting
mm,
wobble that we can have
yeah.
when we're dealing with something that we might be a bit anxious about, right?
Yeah, and sometimes yes. And I was just thinking sometimes you don't even know. You don't even know what it is. Like, why am
Yeah,
I feeling off? Or like, you don't need a solution to everything right here, right now. I think actually
yeah,
that's a whole new tip, isn't it?
yeah.
But
Just acknowledge what you're feeling.
yeah, name it. Just go, okay, this is actually yuck, but not try and resolve it. Because sometimes when you're sitting in that state, oh yuck, I've realized what is this feeling, or how am I feeling, or whatever that discombobulation sits at.
Mm.
Um, have a look and just go, okay, I just want to acknowledge it. I don't want to dig. Now's not the time to dig because
Yeah,
we know when you're in that tornado, you have to be in the eye of the storm to see what's going on. When you're in the storm, you can't find any solution.
no, and that's
As I
exactly
laugh, I
where
don't mean to laugh about that, but I'm just like, I know that one.
I know
Yeah.
you and I both know those, but that's a wee bit of where I was coming from when I said at the beginning of
Mm,
our conversation here about getting to neutrality.
mm,
So that kind of weaves in beautifully with what you just
mm.
said, is that acknowledge this is a moment of feeling wobbly or discombobulated or
Yeah, and I think,
I can feel
yeah,
I feel anxious, I feel weary, and just it's okay. Feel okay with that and say, okay, I'm just going to focus on my breath.
mm. When you were just saying, the getting to neutrality, and I don't know what this feels like or anything. I think don't uh, I celebrate my whoopsies. Not always. Hang on, not straight away. Sometimes I just need to clear it. If I
No,
fall over and smack my hand, I'm not going to go, oh, yay, I've got something to work on. At that moment, I don't celebrate at that moment. But celebrate you've
no, you
got
might
something to,
swear.
yeah. Do you think I'd swear?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. When this happens, just honor that there's something for you to work on, because if you're not working on yourself, um, if you're not choosing your challenges or picking your challenges, outside influences will come in and make you do them.
Mhm.
So the beautiful thing is when you have a whoopsie or a wobble or a discombobulation or a depletedness in your energy, we're making a note of it and we're actually just going, oh, this is actually something great. This means I've evolved. I've moved from where I am and I can actually see it. So if somebody does something to you from 10 years ago and then you get into another relationship and it happens again and then you get into another relationship and then it's not just an intimate relationship, it comes into work and you're like, man, I should have done this 10 years, like none of that stuff. Go, this is great. I can actually see it now. I couldn't see it 10 years ago.
Mm.
Or I've had these little red flags. By the way, red flags and pink flags are the same. The pink flags are showing you, and you either action it or not. But oh, I can see this. This is actually exciting. I can work through this.
I can do
And I
something
think,
about it. Yeah.
yeah, so you don't have to necessarily celebrate when you smack your head and you fall over or you hurt your hand. But actually, this is something that's going to help you evolve, because if we're not evolving, we're stagnant and we're going to grow moss
We're
in
actually
between our toes.
sliding slightly backwards. We're not really
Mm,
doing anything.
yeah.
But coming into what the more of what we were talking about thinking about, contemplating, are the people around you uplifting you? Do you feel joy-filled? Do you feel seen? Do you feel happy, lit
Mm,
up with the people around you? Or do you feel a little bit trepidation, a little bit, oh, I don't want to be in this environment. Oh, oh gosh, we have to have that
mm.
conversation again.
Even you
Those
saying that right now, I'm already thinking of those people, by the way. I just went, that person, that person, that person. I went, wow. So just go back to the start. If this triggers you, write it down.
Yeah. But see, right there, because it's a gift, right there, it's like,
Mm,
oh, I'm feeling depleted even when I think about having that conversation or being in that environment. Thank you so much. Now, what can I do? And some of our listeners will have heard me talking about my snow globe idea.
yeah, I love
The
that.
snow globe idea is to visualize. In fact, I have one up on my shelf to remind me of this, that
Of
we
course.
can visualize ourselves in our own bubble of protection, our own sparkly inner landscape. It's actually always there, regardless if you are in a circle of people who uplift you or deplete you, you own your energy. And so
Mm,
remember the other part. So here's this is a two-part tip, is imagine yourself in your own protective bubble, which is the snow globe, and you can even shake it up and surround yourself with sparkles. Mine's got purple sparkles.
of
But the
course.
other part about this is to always, always, always remember we educate people how to treat us and how to talk to us. So
Mm,
if you are in a space or a situation where something or someone is depleting you, you're the boss of you, and you get to say, no, that just doesn't work for me. Thanks very much. Bye. Reverse out of
mm,
the situation. Come into your own inner sacred sanctuary. Does that make sense,
mm.
Deb?
Yeah, yeah, it does. And I think, yes, it
Mm,
totally does. And I was just thinking, uh, when you were talking about this, you can do a quick audit on yourself and
yeah,
say, how do I feel about being around these after being
yeah,
with them?
yeah.
Like, and that's honoring them also. It's honoring you. It's actually yes, it's just an audit. How do I feel about me after being with them?
I like that. That should be a tip all of its own. How do I feel about me after? You could even contrast it, right? You could ask yourself, how do I feel about myself as I know that I'm going to go do this later today, meet these people, have this conversation, and then
Mm,
just come back in and reassess that audit. How did
yeah,
how did it make me feel? So how does it make me feel knowing I'm going to step into it, and just feel into that, and then, like I say, calibrate to how did it go? Because sometimes we can over exaggerate or get caught up in something that is not. And
yeah,
then we go and do it and go, oh gosh, it was completely different to what I thought, right?
yeah. And I think when it comes to this one, how do I feel about, me before going to them and then being after being with them? Be cautious of, oh, actually, it's a whole new tip, isn't it?
Mm.
Surprise, is actually your level of influence of other people. Because if you're saying to your partner, or you're going to your partner, they have their own. They have their own audit of that person.
Right.
So be careful when you're doing this. If you're going to family members and you say, "Oh, I've got to go to your mum's again or your dad's again," and I'm sick of going there, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, you have to go." You're already bringing in their audit to you.
Right.
If you've got to go to a meeting, you're like, "Oh God, three of us actually hate her, and we've got to listen to her."
Right.
Be
You're
careful of your
creating,
own.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You be careful of your own. I don't. Well,
Own,
you're the
well,
boss
it's
of you.
basically
Yeah.
taking
Pick this up, Moira.
responsibility. Well, it's about taking responsibility for yours, your opinion's yours.
Yeah.
And it's not
You're the
about
boss of
then
you.
enrolling other people into your story. Yeah, you are the
Yeah.
boss of you. And you can share, but this is my opinion. This is my take on this person. It
Mm.
reminds me of many years ago when I was in corporate jobs. There used to always seem to be a situation come up in one way or another that when you stepped into a new office or a new role, that there people wanted to fill you in with the gossip. Oh, don't talk to that person because this person always does it
Yeah.
this way, or
I
don't
had
ask
that.
them. But I used to always make it a rule that you can come and tell me your stories, but I'm not going to judge the person based on what you told me
Mm.
because my interaction with that person is always going to be different to what somebody else told me they had, right?
100%. Well, if you're frustrated with someone and then suddenly you put them in love and gratitude into your heart,
Mhm.
your interactions with that person is going to be different because you're going to treat them differently. And guess what? They treat you differently.
Yeah,
So, so,
exactly.
so if you're an a-hole to somebody, they're going to be an a-hole back most likely. And if they're your work colleagues, they're like, oh, they do this all the time to everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you come in neutral, which just actually reminds me, when my partner, she had a dog, she had a rescue dog, Phoebe, and Phoebe was just well, so I didn't have the 10 years before Phoebe was around. I didn't see the aggression. I didn't see the I want to eat you to men. There was a lot of, she was a rescue poor wee tot, and she'd had
Right.
a hard life. So it took my partner 10 years or so to get her to a level. And she had told me a little bit about Phoebe, and as we're pulling up to the house to meet her, she said to me, "Don't get out of the car. Like, Deborah, don't get out of the car.
Mm.
Let her come to you." Of course, I didn't hear that. I was excited. So I opened the car door, and Phoebe jumped straight in,
Right.
jumped on my lap and licked my face. And my partner was like, what? That's never, ever, ever happened. Like, she wants to eat everybody and kill everybody around. And
Yeah.
I'd completely forgotten about all the things that my partner had said. Surprise, surprise. I'd forgotten about everything. And I just treated her like, oh my God, you're adorable. And she licked my face, and I gave her smooches and kisses. And she was like, what is this stuff that you're giving me? You won't even let me, breathe, type thing. And I just smothered her in love. And that's the Phoebe I had
Right.
in that dog, because I treated her. I'd heard the stories, they didn't land, but I just treated her with love. And
Such
because I treated her with love, she treated me back with love.
the
And that was it.
intelligence of animals. I love
I
that
know.
story, and it is so, so on point because you
It's
didn't
just what you were.
meet her. Yeah, you
No.
didn't meet her going, oh my God, I have to be careful, can't open the car door because she's going to bite me.
I complete. She said, and my partner said, I just told you that as we pulled up. I was like, oh yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, I saw the mouth. I saw your
I
mouth
saw,
moving.
and I was like, oh, wonder what she's going to be there. But that's exactly what you're saying in business,
Yeah.
because you come in with a perception of this person as a micromanager, or this person's this, and you're just
Yep.
like, well, this person's just a person trying to do their job. Let me come
Yeah.
in with that.
And I'm
You
a
know,
person doing my job, and so I'm going to meet you and see who are you?
yeah,
Here's who I am.
that's
Who
right.
are you?
And
Yeah.
that exactly happened to Phoebe. And then, now she did attack my dog, because she a couple of times. But Ben, my dog, definitely got up her grill. I could see that. But that's exactly it. It's other people's influence. When you meet people,
Mm.
meet them from your heart without a biased confirmation from other
Yeah.
people's.
Yeah. So that's being no agendas, because really that's what it is,
Mm,
right? We're
it is.
assuming somebody else's opinion, some other agenda.
That they're
That's
always like that.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you meet
Yeah.
them with love, they meet you differently.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BB, bless her.
That
We
that
talk
was
about animals, of course. Yeah. And I
no.
just have to say, when my partner met my dog, I said, ignore him until he settles down. That's what the dog trainer said. And of course, she walked in the door and she went straight on the ground, and he just jumped all over. And I was like, yeah, that's ignoring. It's okay. Just because I say my things doesn't mean I do it myself, because I clearly didn't ignore BB. But I was like, okay, that's it. Dogs are ours. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah, yeah.
But
But it
what
is
I
coming from that different perception of them.
but
Yeah,
it's actually
neutral.
it's neutral, but it's also being very, very present. Right. So it's a wee
Mm.
bit like what I was saying about that girl I was talking to earlier today about the staying present and I am safe. I'm driving, I'm safe. Actually, it's really funny because further on in the conversation, she told me that she used to live in a really big city out west near where I used to live. And I said,
Oh,
so she used to drive from one end of that city to the other and she had no problem. So it's like, so now you can
uh,
bring that energy in, be present, be in this
mm,
moment rather than and actually this was kind of cute too because that's what I was saying to her is that when we get into anxiety, we're not here,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because we're trying to predict the future. Well, no, you can't. You can just be here and drive your car or be
And you
here and
can't
show
predict.
up. Show up, right? And say,
Yeah.
like you're saying about the dog, right? You're just like, oh, there's a dog, as opposed to listening to the, oh my gosh, I have to.
Oh my God, she's going to eat me. She's going to, she's been with my
Yeah,
partner for so
because
long. All of that.
the intelligence of animals, they know. They know
Mm.
if you're going, oh my gosh, this dog's gonna bite me, this dog's not gonna like me. The dog will just go, I guess I can't
Dogs,
like you. Yeah, I
dogs are
guess
way
to
more
bite you.
intelligent than people.
Yeah, they are.
They don't hold on to a grudge. You can do whatever to them, and then 2 minutes later, well, hang on, I'm not going to say you can do whatever to them, but I just need
No.
to reframe that. That's not what I'm meaning, but you can forget their walk,
Mhm.
and they'll still be happy with you. They'll
Yeah.
still be happy. They'll still sit on you. They'll still demand food. They'll still like, okay, Mum just told me off for eating the toy and spitting it out or vomiting here, but she said, oh yeah, what's next?
And it's just
But
so funny.
they're present.
They are. It's like
Yeah.
my cat. I just recently got some a new plant. It's actually a potted rose plant, and my cat loves plants.
Oh.
And so I yell at her every so often, but and she gets all scared. Oh, she's upset, Mom, and she runs away. But then give her 5 minutes and she wants to be on my lap again.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Animals
yeah.
are a curse and a blessing. Animals just alert us to living in a different world.
And be
Like
present. Just really stay
they
present.
teach you so much. They teach you so much when you're ready to see it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So are the people all right? Well, see, my cat's uplifting me. Well, she depletes me when she chomps away at the leaves of my plant.
Well, yeah, I know, and they're yes, and if you're having, I remember when I was in a real low vibe years and years and years ago, and the dog Ben wouldn't leave my side. He just would
Mm,
not leave my side. He just stayed, and I was like, I don't even want to talk to you. I don't even want to feed you. I don't even want to get off the couch. It was like
yeah.
that, and he was just like, well, mate, I'm here.
Yep.
I'm just
I'm
gonna be
just,
here.
yeah.
That's it. And they know.
They really
Um,
do. It's like when I was first processing the loss of my husband, my cat would sleep on me
oh yeah.
like all night. She would
Is that
sleep
because Jim used to?
on me.
Yeah,
No, she
they
just
do.
she just really dialed
She
into
knew.
to I need to be there and feel the
Yeah.
warmth. And if I started to move, she'd start to purr. There's
Yeah.
something really uplifting about that in itself. A little fur ball that starts to purr just because you moved.
Yeah. So listeners, I want to know what your cat does. Just, let us know what your cat or dog or
Your
animal
what
or
does your
donkey.
pet do to help
Yeah.
uplift you?
Yeah. And I guarantee it also depletes you. I bet you there's moments you're
Of
just like, for
course.
goodness sake, For goodness sake, how many times do you need to wake up? We were talking about getting a cat, and then I watched this thing, What's It Like to Sleep with Kittens? And
No.
this cat was a YouTube something, and bouncing on the head, there, under, brought a toy in, and I was just like, oh no, 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 we're not having a kitten. No, as much as no, 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 no.
Yeah,
But let
my
us
cat
know.
doesn't do that.
Yeah, yours is gone from that age.
She's a
But let
bit
us know.
mature.
Let us know. Drop a photo of your animal because that's the stuff that, well, unless there's somebody on here who doesn't like animals, and then it's depleting you. Then add that to your list, people. Okay. But just show us a photo of your animal and what it does. That uplifts you.
Mhm.
Because I think that would be really cool for other people to go, yes, my cat does that, or my donkey does that, or something. There's a dog that I walked past the other day, and it saw me coming, and it comes running to the gate and comes with Pat.
Aw.
And so I told my, because I'm up with my parents, and it's a big it's a big, I don't know, it's a big dog. Anyway, and I said to mum and dad, I said, I got a little bit distracted this morning. I patted the dog. Oh, God, it's a Labrador. It's a
Okay.
black lab.
Yeah.
And dad goes, I know the one. He said, I pat it, and then I go on, and then it runs down the fence. I said, well, it ran down the fence 3 times to me, so I had to pat it 3 times. And dad goes, you're a sucker. He said, the amount of times we drive past and see that dog up there, he said, it just likes anyone and everyone. And I was just like,
Cute.
oh my God, people look forward to the walk just because
Yeah, just
of the
because of the
dog.
dog.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on
Anyways,
from uplifting or depleting. Otherwise, we're just going to talk animals. But yes, yes,
but
yes, yes.
so here's the next question that I encourage people to lean into with this idea of, are the people around you uplifting you or depleting you? As we evolve and shift and change and perhaps become more aware of our own sensitivities, you mentioned earlier, I believe, about the getting on social media. And
Oops.
sometimes, like I'm finding more and more and more that I might see something on Facebook and oh, there's my sign to shut my phone down or get off of it, or because
Mhm.
it's so important to stay present to that whole idea. We've already talked about it in this conversation about how does this make me feel about me. But the thing too is it's so important to be aware of what are your needs emotionally. What's your
Mm.
emotional needs? And by being aware of your emotional needs, all of us, regardless of where we are in our lives, what phase or chapter, we all need to be loved and accepted,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
And so sometimes that's what might take us onto social media or take us into a group that maybe feels a little bit dissonant energetically, or and because we've bought into this story of I need to feel connected, I need to feel loved and accepted or seen. The key piece is if you're in an environment or in a situation where you're feeling depleted, it's maybe a sign or a signal to say, wait, where have I not been loving and accepting to myself?
I
Me to
knew you were
me,
going to say that
first
one.
and foremost.
Comes back to us each
It
time. Yeah.
absolutely does. So that's the point is that what we see in others, whether it pisses us off or lights us up, it's a reflection of our inner landscape.
Mm.
So if it's triggering, and this is how come we were both inviting you to, if you're getting triggered by any of these topics or ideas that we're sharing, make a note of it. Have
Mm.
some gratitude. Oh, look at that just came up. And then allow yourself the space and time to come into your own tender heart, your own inner landscape, because it's asking for attention. The reason you're getting that trigger is there's something for you to go, ah, I see you, I love you, all is well in my world, or something like
Mm.
that, right?
Yeah. This these aren't hard, but
Mm-mm.
sometimes they might feel heavy.
Mhm.
Even just hand on heart, all is well in my world is could be too much. And you
Yeah.
may have to say it 10 times,
Mhm.
but so be it. And you may have to say it and you may not be able to get to the end of the sentence. Um, but just keep going.
Yeah.
Sometimes one isn't done, you know, from that.
Mm.
But just when you were talking about that, I was thinking how we actually excuse me, normalize the draining dynamics. And when I think about this, we go, somebody says something to us and we go, oh, that's just them. It's all the time. Oh, they do that to me. They don't just do it to me, they do it to everybody. And I think we excuse their behavior. How do I say this? We excuse their behavior because, oh, that's just them. They're like that all the time. And I think there's a couple of things of that is actually seeing that they don't do it all the time, having a look to go, actually, yeah, they do it all the time. They're always negative. So that's what it is. They're always negative about politics. Okay. I want you to actually just do two things. One is look where they're not negative about politics. And this may take you a while, but actually have a good look that, oh, no, they're not all the time. That's just a story because there's times that they've actually said, I support so and so over so and so. They might just be negative about one person. But actually, no, and just to see, because that breaks your illusion or your black and white thinking that they're like that all the time. And I think that's one there. But also I think when it comes to that is letting that attachment go, because that will let the attachment go
Right.
of actually that they don't do that and stop the excuses of that. It just for me it just shuts that down. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
To see
it
that
does.
both sides?
But
Because
it's about
we
a story.
normalize it.
You're listening to Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, here to help listeners unlock their full potential so they can thrive, not just survive. They've shared some very powerful insights so far, so it's time to take a moment to breathe, reflect, and jot down any key takeaways. What's one piece of advice that stands out to apply right away? Before wrapping up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from everyone. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback, and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how listeners are putting these insights into practice. Let's dive back in and finish strong.
Yeah, and it's just a story. And it's just a story. But we normalize people. We go, oh, we're going to go to that meeting, and she always goes on for too long. Or we go to the in-laws, and they all just moan about the price of this and the price of that, and we don't want to go. So just look where they do the opposite, and
Right.
it just shifts. It just goes, oh, damn, they actually do the opposite. It's a humbling experience when you do see that the people you complain about actually demonstrate the opposite. And I guarantee it's always there. I guarantee you a gazillion dollar, like I guarantee this, it is always there. Because if you choose to see one side, you're blinded by the other side. So find it, people. Don't just go, no, not for me, not for me, not for me. Everybody's mean and cruel. Everyone is mean and kind. We all have it in us, and we just choose to bring it out when it's important to us. You just have to open your eyes and see it.
Absolutely.
Does it all make sense?
What it brought to my mind was that quote that basically says, we don't see people as they are, we see them as we are.
Yes.
People don't see
Goosey.
things as they are, we see them as we are. Because
Yeah.
that it's like, wait, and again, that's back to why I said about coming into neutrality. Because neutrality allows us to just be aware that there's a negative and positive. There's a good and bad. They suck at this and they're great at that.
But not attached to the pull in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, because to your point, we all have the negative and the positive. We can't go, oh, no, not me. I don't have any of that dark stuff. You do. Right? And so it's to stay present in the middle and see. Because the other thing that came to my mind as you were describing that is that's going back to what we were talking about the audit idea. That just feel into how are you feeling? What's the dialogue about going to that group or having the conversation with those people? What's going on? Just be aware of it. And then go and then come out of it. And sometimes, like you're saying, sometimes you might go into thinking, oh God, they're going to drone on for God knows how long about blah, blah, blah.
We're only
blah,
going
blah.
for 15 minutes, but we're going to be there for 7 hours because that's their pattern.
Yes.
Ugh.
And then you come out of it half an hour later going, who knows? Who knew? They're talking about all these things that I loved, right?
Yeah. And I guarantee it I guarantee once you've done just even that one tip, they don't deplete you, they're actually uplifting you because you're just going to go, oh yeah. And that's the whole thing. Every single tip we've given today or strategy will take you from depleting to uplifting. If you
Absolutely.
just do one, everything will just take you just like that. And I guarantee, well, if you're a bit like Debbie, you'll laugh and go, who knew? Who would have thought?
Who knew?
Fancy that. Fancy that.
But the one that we're talking about right here, this is about just being curious. Just be curious. Oh,
yeah.
who knew? The You know me with my quotes. I like sharing quotes. And I had come across this one that kind of applies to what we're talking about. This is it's Stacey London that said this. It says, don't let fear or insecurity stop you from trying new things. Believe in yourself, do what you love, and most importantly, be kind to others, even if you don't like them.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
that's
great?
nice.
I like that one a lot. But
even if you don't like them, because you
even if
haven't
you don't
chosen to
like
see
them.
the love. But yeah, I love that's honest. Yeah.
It is. You can be kind to everyone. But this is being into this sense of curiosity. Because even if you have this little narration in the back of your mind of, oh gosh, that person's just going to go on forevermore about blah, 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 still be kind.
Yeah.
You can still be kind and stay present. Say, I don't have to like you. I don't even have to like what's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
But I can be
Seen, heard,
kind.
acknowledged.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, back to the basics.
Back to the number one tip, seen, heard, acknowledged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you know, when I think about this, I think you yeah, I'm going to say guilt because we oh, I don't want to go meet that person or whatever. You know, we have this sense of guilt that, oh, I can't go see my in-laws, or I can't go. And the reason I'm saying in-laws, it's not my in-laws. I need to clarify this actually. Thank you, because I've had three clients this last week in a week that have just been complaining about the in-laws, and I'm like, man, what's this a reflection to me? And I'm like, okay, but
It's
I'm
not
not
her
complaining about my
in-laws, she's
in-laws.
talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
you.
yeah. Just need to clarify that. But sometimes we're afraid to set our boundaries because we're just like, oh, it's going to upset them, or I'm obligated to do this, or I'm supposed to do this, or any of those things. So just know that these boundaries that you've got that you're going to set, they're not rejection. Again, they're not rejection, they're redirection. But saying things like, that doesn't work for me right now. It's just, and Moira said at the start, we treat people.
We teach people how to treat us
We
or how to talk to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Hang
Yeah.
on, what was that exactly? Yeah, and I think that's it. So when we set these boundaries, we're not doing it because we want to be an a-hole. We're not doing it because we want to hurt them. We're doing it because it just feels right for us. So, and just know that you're better off to not be with them if you're in that space. If you're in a funk space with them, you're better not to be there and help them with something, because energy, they can sniff your energy. You can sniff your own energy. It's pretty freaking obvious, people, if you're cranky with somebody, and people don't want that. So you're better to just go, this doesn't work for me right now. You don't have to over explain. No is a complete sentence.
I exactly took the words right out of my mouth. No is a complete sentence. No doesn't mean never.
Yeah.
No just means doesn't work for me right now. You could say, no, it doesn't work for me today. I'll give you a call tomorrow. You could, but only
could.
if that's right for you.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking this morning I was supposed to be on a class, and the person putting it on is ill, and she left it until just like a couple of hours before we were supposed to go live. But she's really ill, so she's
Yeah.
saying she's rebooked the time till later in the week. Hopefully it'll work. And so that to me is the perfect way of saying no, she couldn't do it today. She's going to do her best
Well, that's
to do
honoring.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to do her best. But so then I look at my schedule, and so I wrote back to her, and giving her lots of healing vibes, of course.
Yeah.
But sort of tentatively putting it in my schedule, and if I can attend live, I will. But I'm not saying, oh, it's definite, right? Because
Yeah.
she showed me what her bandwidth is. and she owns her own energy that she wants to be 100% well to be the host, right?
See, that's honorable. I would respect her more
Mm-hmm.
for not showing up, because if she showed up, you would see her and you go, "Oh, why?" Or and it just
Yeah,
wouldn't be what you want, or for her as well, and she'll be forcing herself. And I think
precisely.
that's that thing. It's that obligation. Oh, I've got to show up because they've paid for a
Yeah,
course or
because
something.
they said I
Actually,
would. Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, it's that stuff that just goes, you know what, this is actually better that I just go away and I just recalibrate my system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's yeah, they're important. I know we're going to wrap up
Mm-hmm.
shortly, and people are like, "What? You've only just started." I feel like we need to do a double whammy on this. I feel like I've just started to get my tips out. If you want a number two, let us know, because I've got a gazillion tips on this one here. Haven't even talked about my new nail lady that I've just met and fell in love with, and and my new hairdresser I just met, and all of these things. But give us grab that note-taking device, because I feel at the very end we might add another one or two, and of course we've got
We
our
usually
yogi tea
do.
bag.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah. Don't think it's just this is it. But grab that note-taking device, because we are going to sum up the strategies we've given you here. And this is, are the people around you uplifting you or depleting you? Even it just
Mhm.
feels different.
It
Just feels
does.
different, that title,
Yeah. It
from
feels
what I
much
think it
lighter.
does.
It feels much lighter than when we first started, I think.
Yeah, when we first started, I was like, oh, I can feel it. And those three people, I actually, even just now, I said, oh, there's three people I could think of when you were talking about meh, 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 that meh, 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 meh. I literally just put those three faces up and I just went, oh, that's funny. No, like
It's all
from what
good.
you've
It's all
given, and I
good.
haven't done any pen and paper. It's just, yep, coming to the heart. So,
Sweet.
um, the first tip actually was, if it triggers you, we're taking you to neutrality. Honor
Mm-hmm.
it, note it down, write that down, because write it down, hand on heart, just love yourself through this again. But if anything triggers you, your aim is in this call,
Mm-hmm.
but also anything we could talk about. But if your mind is run a marathon and a sprint cycle, write it down and then honor it that you're going to address it.
Which
That's the
is
first
the
tip I had,
yeah, no,
isn't
that
it?
is the first tip.
Okay.
It's actually a merging of the two tips we did,
Yes.
because that was when you said by doing it that way, you're actually doing the seen, heard, and acknowledged, right?
Yes.
Which then that went into what I said, to acknowledge what you're feeling without trying to resolve it. Because
Mm,
that's when we talked a wee bit about trying to resolve something when you're in the storm of it, or in the chaos or discombobulation, the wobble. It's like sometimes it's just most important to just acknowledge right now this is what I feel like. And
mm,
I'll circle back to it, or I'll get to sense of calmness or ease or presence or poise to
mm.
unpack it. Because it's not, if I'm feeling discombobulated, oh, I have to fix this now. I have to figure this out right now. No, maybe you don't,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. I love that. I love that. The next one I have is Eye of the Storm Snow Globe. So I wrote down. And this is about celebrating you have something to work on.
Mhm.
And if you're standing in the eye of the storm or you're in that snow globe, well, Moira actually said we educate people on how to treat us.
Yeah.
We educate people on how to treat us by the way that we treat ourselves. So I think that's just a great way to go. Okay, if I'm standing in that eye of the storm, or I'm sitting in the snow globe, what is that sparkle around me? What is that beauty around me that actually is? Because you can't answer when you're sitting in that space.
Right.
Which is, I just realized these all just clicked into one, like it normally does, don't they? I just went, oh,
Yep.
hang on, that was a bit of the other one. This is where we
Yep.
go. This is 1A, this is 1B, this is 1C, but they're all really important. And just make sure you've got that sparkle for whatever that is, or glitter, as I would
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
But you don't have to work it out straight away. Just stand there
No.
and be present.
And then, but then also it's not that, like if you're in a situation where this idea of us educating people how to speak to us and treat us. I'm thinking of an example where somebody was yelling at me. And initially, I get involved in the conversation, but then I have to say, hey, wait a minute. I don't educate people to yell at me. So then I take full ownership of I'm not in the right environment. This is just not one of my people. Right? Because my people wouldn't yell at me. And so sometimes that in itself is such a beautiful, that's where I'm in my snow globe because nobody yells at me in my snow globe. But it also helps you just discern and navigate and make choices because we get to choose our tribe. And if a tribe member is being disrespectful or being mean or doing anything that just doesn't feel in alignment with who you are, because we are all evolving. We're always doing this upward spiral. And so some people will spiral up with us and others won't. And it's all good. We're all on our own trajectory. And this is part of it, right? That celebrating and remembering, oh, yes, if I educated you to treat me or speak to me that way, I'm taking the permission slip back.
Yeah.
Right.
Just when you were saying that, I remember I was driving in a car and a gentleman overtook me and cut me off and sliced my car. Because he had a trailer on. He obviously forgot that he had a trailer on. Anyway, it just scraped my car. And I was so angry and so wild. So I followed him and I said, hey, mate, did you, and I wound the window down at the traffic lights. We pulled up beside each other at the traffic lights. And he just pulled up this crowbar on the passenger seat and he goes, I'm going to frick it. And he just went off his nut at me. And I went, oh my God. And he yelled and yelled and yelled. And then he tried to swipe me in my car. And I freaked. And I got a heck of a fright. And
Yeah, no doubt.
I rang the police and I gave them the registration. They said, oh, don't follow him. Don't follow him. We know who he is. Leave it, which was really interesting. And I told my partner about it and she said, but Deborah, you don't have people yell at you. People don't pull a crowbar on you. Like, this is a whole different world to you. Like, no wonder you were, because I was like, why would you do that? Why would you not go, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't even know, let me fix it or anything? Because that's what I just visualized he would do, because that's what I would do, type thinking. And I was just like, whoa. And she just said, no, that's not your world.
That's right.
It's not, you don't have people who do anything like that. And I was like, I must live in a big bubble. And she's like, yeah, you do live in a bubble, honey, but your bubble's okay. But you just have to be aware that,
there are other things outside of the bubble.
Yeah. And by the way, we did go to court. We got to the point of going to court and then he pleaded guilty. So
I remember that happening to you. Yeah.
I was just like, why would you even treat me like this? What have I done? I just happened to be in this lane. But what did I did? I definitely was listening to my old-fashioned music and, singing away in my own little bubble, as I do. But it was because you're right. We treat people the way that we want to be treated ourselves.
We teach them how to.
Teach them.
Yeah. And it's by saying, yeah, you can shout at me. Or no, you're not talking to me if you're shouting, because people in my world don't. And so I literally have done that, is that person doesn't exist in my circle. You know that story.
Oh yeah, I know that story. And they can be family members. I'm just going to say to people, like
they can.
Those who are closest to us, but we don't. Yeah. I'm just going to let them. Yeah, perfect. Whose turn? Your turn?
I think it's my turn.
I could just give it you.
All right. Yeah, because you can do the one after this one. Deb had talked about doing an audit, and I suggested doing an audit of yourself before and after. Meaning that if before you're like, oh, I don't want to go to that party or that group because these people always do this or don't do that. So just check in with what's going on, and then do another quick check-in to see, how do you feel after? How did it go? Because sometimes it goes so much better, or you kind of go, gosh, that was an old outdated story I was telling myself. So that actually helps us come into that sense of neutrality and spaciousness and just ease. It's like, okay, there's the fear or there's the trepidation, and then I went and did it and it was all good.
Yeah, no, that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing when you go and do something, you're like, I spent more time actually discombobulating my mind about doing this whole thing and realizing it's not that quotation bad after all.
Yep.
Yeah. The next one was meeting people with no agenda.
Mhm.
And this is where I talked about little Phoebe, and Moira talked about when she goes to when she was back in the corporate days.
Yeah.
But that's like when clients go, you need to talk to my husband because they're more screwed up than me. And then you talk to the
Yeah.
husband, you're like, what the heck?
This is
They've got a
nothing.
whole, this is what your husband's not what I expected. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and so this is meet people with no agenda. And that is that neutrality. And that is when people go, you won't like this person, or this person's a micromanager at work, or this, I know his or her tactics, and they'll always betray people, all
Yeah,
of
they'll
those stories
always
that
treat you
other
this
people.
way. They'll always
Yeah,
talk to you like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That with that, and knowing that other people's agendas can throw us off.
Mhm.
And this was literally when I talked about Phoebe the dog, when Phoebe was a rescue and quite aggressive with a lot of people, and I'd forgotten the story, even though I'd just heard it 30 seconds before I pulled up.
She
Man,
never
I just
listens to me. That's it.
I know. I think about it. I was like, literally, she pulled up, and then Phoebe came running out, and I could hear my partner going, "Don't do this." And of course, I just opened the door, just as Deborah does. It just,
Mhm.
but because I met Phoebe with absolute love and no agenda, she just loved me unconditionally,
Mhm.
and I loved her, and I've forgotten about all the stories, and then now they're all coming flooding back. I was like, crikey, Deborah, you definitely didn't listen to her right from the start.
Totally tuned her
But
out.
be aware of your own agenda and be aware of other people's agendas, because even when we gossip about other people, we're doing confirmation bias. We're trying to recruit them. Don't go to them because they're a horrible person, or don't buy from them because of this. We're already trying to recruit people into our story. So
Mm.
be aware of that for yourself. Meet people with your own agenda.
Mm. This is something that's often talked about in the oracle card world or the tarot card world, where you're wise to just, if you're feeling drawn to using oracle cards, for instance, pick the cards up and look at what does that card or that imagery evoke in you? What does it mean
Mm.
to speak to you
Mm-hmm.
before you go and read the guidebook? Because you're
Mm.
reading the guidebook through somebody else's filter, right? So if
Mm.
if purple's my favorite color, then
Really?
purple
If? Did you go if?
if
Did you just go if?
purple's my favorite color.
Purple
So
hair,
therefore
purple nails,
I'm going
purple
to
background, purple
yeah,
snow. Okay, sorry. Yeah, carry on.
but therefore, so right there, I'm going to assess anything or share anything from that lens. It's a
Yeah.
lens that I I like it, but
Mm-hmm.
not everybody will. So that's why it's so important to look at, because maybe orange is somebody else's color, or
Mm.
yellow, or
Or
whatever,
glitter.
or glitter. Yeah, or gold. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, because sometimes an image will evoke calmness and joy and happiness and peace and ease.
Mm.
And other times that same image may evoke fear, trepidation, loss, trauma, turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of, as a hypnotherapist, I like to make sure what are people's favored favored items of relaxation. Because one
Mm.
time I did a hypnosis session with somebody and I was guiding her to be by the beach. Turns out she hates sand and hates
I'm sorry.
so that's not relaxing to her. It's very relaxing to me, but it wasn't to her.
That's so valid, relevant. That's yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So come home to you. You're the boss of you, remember?
Yeah, you are the boss of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was when you were talking about that I said, um, we don't see people or situations as they are, we see them as we are, how we are.
Mm.
And that's why I'm saying, look at the oracle card, because you see it as you are.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't necessarily, but to be honest with you, I
That's
do
funny you
both.
say that.
I do both.
I bought a pack of cards recently, and I went, oh, yay, I'm going to buy these. These are really cute. They're gold and glitter. So,
Perfect.
Yeah, and I bought them. In fact, they're not with me at the moment. And I haven't even opened them. And I looked at the back, and I bought them. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I went to open them, and at the back, it just said cards. What was in there was cards, and I went, no book. Oh bugger that, no book. I'm gonna have to think about. No, didn't do it. So I literally just put them to the side, which is even funnier because I was like, I need the explanation on every one of these. So there's no mistake you said that about
That's
that because I'm
awesome
like.
that I said that. That was for
I
you.
know. There was, yeah, no one else got that tip. That was just that, because when you said that, I was like,
Special for
that's
them.
those damn cards the other day that I bought. And I'm like, I'm not going to open those. I've got no book. How am I going to figure that out? Upload that to chat and go, what does it explain this? No,
I love
Deborah,
it.
what
I
does it mean
love
to you? Yeah,
it.
yeah. Thanks, Moira.
No,
I guess
not
I'll
a
be, I
problem.
guess I'll be using my intuition on that one then. Yeah.
Yes.
But you
Oh,
can't
I
get
love
it wrong. You can't
it.
get it
Yeah.
wrong. I think that's the other thing in life. You
Nope,
can't get it wrong.
you can't.
Yeah.
Can't ever. The next tip I had was that Stacey London quote that I read out. And it said, don't let fear or insecurity stop you from trying new things, like opening a new Oracle card deck with no
Mm.
guidebook.
That's literally, I did. When you talked to her, I
Yeah.
was like, that's me. I went, I'm not going to open that. I'll sell it. I'll sell it. It's probably
Uh,
going to be the greatest Oracle cards ever.
you
Yeah.
probably believe in yourself, do what you love, and most importantly, be kind to others, even if you don't like them. I like that
Mm,
quote.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's when we're talking about normalizing draining dynamics.
Mm.
Stop normalizing those draining dynamics. I do have a tip further back that we just did. Um, I'm going to get you to read that Stacey quote again in a minute. But what we see in others is a reflection to look at ourselves.
Mm.
And that's that all is well in our world. Because when we choose to see black and white thinking that they're always like this to other people, they're always like this to me, they're always like this, you know, and we're running that story, it's just a story. When we're running that story, I want people to see where do they demonstrate the opposite, where do they demonstrate or
Right.
display the opposite,
Yeah.
because that to go, actually, they don't just complain about politics, they actually talk uplifting about politics,
Mm.
or they're, at the moment in New Zealand, people are just moaning about the diesel price, the petrol price, and what's going
Here
on,
too.
etc.
Here too.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, can we just stop? Can we just stop? This is driving my head. And I went, okay, where's actually people going, hey, let's share some strategies on how to save petrol. Let's car share. And
Mm.
people are actually, and I'm like, so it's not just all doom and gloom for the petrol prices. People are collaborating. People are sharing how to,
Beautiful.
why don't, like somebody I know is actually catching a bus, and it's a 40-minute bus ride, and it's costing them $4 a day to go there and back on this 40 minutes instead of taking their car every day to work.
Mm.
And so people are actually sharing ways to change that thought about petrol prices not actually that bad. I'm actually saving money with the petrol right now.
Right.
And
Good.
it's just showing the dark, seeing the light in the dark.
That they both
Yeah,
they both exist. Yeah,
they
absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just our blinded story, black and white thinking.
Yeah.
Can you read that quote from Stacey again? Is that just so I
Sure.
can?
Sure. Don't let fear or insecurity stop you from trying new things. Believe in yourself, do what you love, and most importantly, be kind to others, even if you don't like them.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm.
That's a beautiful way to bring. I feel like that was a really good quote to bring into this. Are they uplifting you or
It's
depleting you? It's like,
absolutely.
yeah,
It
yeah,
sums it up.
it
It
does.
sums it up. Mm. And the last one. You doing the last one?
Sure, I can. That's when you talked about guilt. You talked about guilt was the last one I
Boundaries
had.
without guilt. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like guilt can sometimes stop you from setting boundaries, and that's what I like. What you said. You said a boundary is not a rejection; it's a redirection.
Mm.
Thought that was a good way of putting it. And then we wrapped that up by saying no is a full sentence. And that's when I gave you the example of the girl that was leading a course that I was supposed to be on this morning. And
Mm.
she said she couldn't do it because she's ill and she's going to do her best to do it in a couple of days, do her best, right? And so I really honor that because I know she will do our best.
Do your best is a great one. It's
Yeah.
just I'm gonna do with what I can.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's kind of like I said, it's marked in my calendar. If maybe she'll show up and maybe she won't. She'll keep us updated. And it'll probably be epic when we actually do get to do it.
My thumb just
Thumbs
popped
up.
up. Yes,
up.
yes, 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 it is.
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. And with that, setting boundaries without guilt, no is a complete sentence, which I've used all weekend with my family.
It is. You don't
And
have
you
to
can't use it
explain
enough.
yourself. You don't have to
Absolutely.
explain yourself to anybody. You actually really
Yeah.
don't.
No.
Totally
Just got to
waters it
explain.
down.
You have to sleep tonight. You have to sleep at night with your decisions and actions you've made. You have to explain it back to yourself, but don't let it spiral. Don't let it spiral. But we have, of course, we're going to have a yogi tea bag quote. Of course, we have a yogi tea bag quote. I've missed these quotes. What have we got today to sum up? Are the people around you uplifting you or depleting you?
I really like this one to carry this flow. The one that's come up is travel in grace, knowing that you are protected by love.
Oh,
Isn't that perfect? Travel in grace, knowing that you are protected by love.
I
Bringing it
love
home to your
that.
heart. Yeah.
Man, Yogi nailed it again. Well, Moira
It
nailed it
did.
because she intuitively picked it up. Oh, that's a goodie.
That is a goodie.
That's a goodie. That's a goodie.
Mhm.
Well, family, guess what? We're handing you back to the universe. We're handing you back to your world until you listen to our next podcast from
Yes.
this. But I want to say, after listening today, who in the world truly lifts you up? Moira and Deborah. Moira and Deborah. Moira and Deborah.
That's the subliminal
that's
input.
it. That's it. Moira and Deborah. Yeah, that's it. But I want you to go, and where might it be time to lovingly shift your space?
Beautiful.
And where might it be time to lovingly shift your space? Ooh
I
la
love that.
la.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Thank you, listeners, for today. Are the people around you uplifting you or depleting you? Even just saying that, I'm just giggly. I'm just like, wow, look how quick that shifted.
Shifted that
In
one.
an hour.
Yep.
Just from that, because it did feel heavy.
It did initially it did.
It
did.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
We love you. We thank you. We thank the internet.
Yes. Thank you. Definitely, internet. Been a
We
bit
thank
wonky.
we thank each other for showing up and sharing our love with you today, our love and wisdom. Thank you, everybody. Have an inspiring day, and you will hear us on our next podcast.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Moira.
you, dear Dove.
Thanks.
Dear love. Dear love.
Yeah. Dear love, I'll be loved today.
Yes, you can be love. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, dear Deb. See you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, where the mission is to help listeners unlock their full potential and thrive, not just survive. As the episode comes to a close, they trust you've gained some powerful insights. If you haven't already, take a moment to reflect on one key takeaway that you'll apply right away. Before we wrap things up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from you. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how you're putting your insights into action. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep thriving.